Hello, welcome back to Mark's Garden UK. I'm Mark, and behind me is my exotic tropical border with all kinds of exotic tropical jungle type plants in it. Now, it's July and it's raining, and it feels like it's been raining forever. But these plants won't be complaining about that, because that combination of warmth that we get at this time of year and rain and the humidity that goes along with that in this small enclosed courtyard, they'll be absolutely loving it. Occasionally, I think it's a good idea just to stop what you're doing in the garden and observe what's going on around you. And I've been doing that in this border, and I've noticed some real surprises. So in this video, I'm going to share those surprises with you. And the first thing I'll do is I'll get hold of the camera and I'll give you a 360 view with a bit of a narration of exactly what I can see all around me. And then we'll have a look at a little bit up close and in detail at some of the things that are happening in the soil in this exotic tropical border. Now, I do have some news for you, some interesting news. If you've been following my channel and watching my videos, you'll know that very sadly, about 2 months ago, we lost our dog. And that was the last of 6 dogs that we've had. And I've been looking after those dogs for about 25 years, and it's very sad, and we do miss Simba. But what it means, the fact that he's no longer with us, is I now have the opportunity to go and do some travelling. And my husband works for an airline. So on Friday this week, hopefully, I'll be jetting off to Singapore. And I am on standby, so if I don't get on, I'll be coming back home. But fingers crossed, there'll be a seat available, and I'll be going to Singapore next Friday, this Friday coming. And in Singapore, I know there are some beautiful gardens. So there's a botanical garden in Singapore. So I'll be doing a garden tour video from botanical garden in Singapore. So watch out for that one coming soon. But for now, let me get hold of the camera, give you a 360 view of what I can see, a bit of a commentary and narration, and then let's get in detail and have a look at some of the surprises which I've noticed in this border. So that's where I've just grabbed the camera from. It was on that tripod. Let's pick a starting point. Let's pick the entrance here. Now, this is bamboo along the back here. And I planted that bamboo, but what I did do, and actually I'm very pleased that I did, was put a bamboo barrier in. Can you see it down there? My sister-in-law has bamboo, or I should say her neighbour has bamboo, and her neighbour's bamboo is creeping into her garden. Anyway, that's my bamboo hedge, which is becoming more and more dense. I've got golden bamboo here and green bamboo along the back, and it's all within a bamboo barrier, and there's videos on my channel about that bamboo barrier. The nice thing about this bamboo is it will thicken out and form a nice hedge, and it will have movement, but it will also protect this little area of garden. So here we have some Trachycarpus. Now, we've broken one of my rules, and we've gone to a supermarket and bought them from Home Bargains. They were quite cheap and reasonably priced. So we got 2 new Trachycarpus. They're not staying there. Those are going to migrate into the arid border, which is going on at the back over there in the main garden. We have a new tree fern. Again, bit addictive tree ferns, aren't they? Once you've bought one, you can't stop buying them again. That was a bit of a bargain because the top of it was a little bit ropey, but it's doing really well now. I'm about to build an oriental style archway here to make an entrance through these 2 bamboos, and they've put 2 sticks in there because the bamboos were getting damaged by the hose pipe. You can see one was coming up right here. It's reached the border of the barrier there, and it's sprouted up, and every time we pulled the hose pipe out, it was damaging it. So I just put that there to protect it. Same thing was happening on the other side. But I am going to build an oriental wooden arch. Let's go round now to the oriental tropical border. Here we have Trachycarpus. There's the mirror I put up. We go round the corner. We've got these 2 brick walls which absorb heat in the day and radiate it during the evening. I'll come back to this in a bit more detail. We recently bought these little faces. Can you see? There. That's a little pan face, and we've got a green man face there from a local place, actually. And there's a green man here, if I can just pull that Canna to the side. And there's another green man face on the wall back there. So, let's pull back a bit. Round the back of the cottage, in an area which is pretty much always shaded, we have the fernery. And that's where I built my little windy path and my patio. We've got tree ferns in there. This is what I was talking about, tree ferns being an addiction. Look, I have to say, for the record, I don't spend the money on these. My husband does. He's the one that buys them. I just look after them. In the main, of course, he does his bit as well. We've got these lovely statues here which form kind of a gateway through. And all these little faces and statues kind of add to a kind of a gothic feel. At night time, we have this uplit with these uplighters, and it has a very atmospheric feeling in here. So let me just whiz round again and give you that 360. Trachycarpus, tree fern, bamboo, gateway, more bamboo. Then we've got the walls. This is my neighbour's house. That's an old piggery. There's the mirror I've just fitted. Around we go. The fern garden, and then we're back where we started. But now let's go in and have a look at some detail. So now let's focus in on the exotic tropical border for a few moments. There's a Tetrapanax, huge big leaves. That's a new addition actually. We've got another one over there, and I'm going to show you something very interesting about that one. Cannas have been left in the ground. They're doing incredibly well, as have the Musa Basjoos. They were all left in the ground and protected. It's given them a head start. You can see my Musa Basjoo is doing really well. And look in there, my criniums down there. One of them has flowered. Crinium puthwellii. I don't think that's how you pronounce it. It's a PW. So pulling back, we've got a purple canna there. And then down there, we have the Colocasia pink china, another hardy Colocasia. And look in here, little pups sprouting up everywhere. And if I go in the border, I think I've got 4 or 5 pups here in this very sheltered border. It is well known as being a hardy Colocasia pink china. You can leave it in the ground and it does spread out. So we've got several different pups there from the Colocasia pink china. And that answers your question, Peter. PJ Entwistle. If you look at his channel, he was asking about how mine were doing. Doing reasonably well, Peter. Look at this down here. Himalayan ginger. Starting to flower. Started off as one flower, one plant, and now it's multiplied into 6 through there, and they're all starting to flower down there in the undergrowth. Persicaria, red dragon, quite an invasive plant, and apparently is actually related to Japanese knotweed. It does incredibly well, formed a nice backdrop there. We've added a passion flower on that bit of trellis, and we'll keep an eye on that because it can be quite invasive, so we'll keep snipping the top off. Let's come down here because this is an interesting surprise. That there, it's Colocasia esculenta, the green Colocasia. It's not hardy in the UK, and I dug every single one of mine up last year and put them in the garage, and all the ones that were in the garage died. They perished in that really cold spell that we had in the garage. That one was left in the ground and it survived. So I now have a Colocasia esculenta, the green one, in the ground that survived outside in the UK all winter. And I believe it's because it's in this sheltered courtyard and it was covered in a mulch. Now, here's some more cannas. Canna musifolia. Look at the size of these leaves. Enormous. Almost as big as the Musa Basjoo, the banana leaves. And that's why people tend to buy these cannas, because they've got such impressive leaves, aren't they amazing? Again, they were left in the ground. I bought from a garden centre a foxtail lily. It was on the reduced shelf. It's gone over now, but it had a beautiful bloom there. It was only 50 pence. In for a penny, in for a pound. So I bought it and it's gone in there and it's doing really well. Another type of ginger here. Again, started off as one and now we've got several, and this produces a lovely long orange flower on it. Down there is a red hot poker. Now let's turn our attention to this second Tetrapanax. This is definitely Rex. Let's just look at the leaf shape on that. And you can see it's got a slightly different leaf shape to this one. So I wonder if they're a slightly different genus. It is self-contained anyway in this border, but I have heard of these Tetrapanax going under tarmac and pushing up through tarmac, which is a bit of a worry. But look at this. There's the original plant there. It went down to a stick in the winter. It went down to just those 2 sticks there that you can see. And it's grown out, come back to life, left in the ground all winter, come back to life. But what's interesting and actually quite exciting is over there, about 1.5 meters away, we have a pup. A Tetrapanax pup there, look. Can you see it? So there, that's come out of the ground there. from over there, which shows you just how invasive these Tetrapanax can be. And apparently all you need to do is disturb the soil around the base of them and they'll shoot out pups, and that's what's happened here. I've got another pink china down there. Look at that, 1, 2, 3. I think there's 4 pups off that pink china down there. That way there goes off into the fern garden at the back of the cottage. That's much more shady down there. We do have a Tetrapanax there, which is probably in the wrong place. It's probably not light enough. And there we've got a heartstone fern. And look at this here. Beautiful canna flower here, look. I'll put the name of that in the description box because I can't remember the exact name of it, but I'll put it in the description box. Look at that beautiful flower on that. Isn't that exquisite? So there we are. Pink china's doing really well. Tetrapanax has shooted a pup. Green esculenta Colocasia has actually survived the winter. I've added a fatsia japonica just for winter structure. We've actually got a tree fern in here. Probably not the same type of exotic tropical plant for this type of border, but nevertheless it's there. The reason that's there is because we ran out of space in there for any more tree ferns. So we've moved it into this border over here. And so there we go. A little guided tour of the exotic tropical border at Mark's Garden UK. And what do you think? Let me know in the comments box below this video. I'm very pleased the way it's turned out. We're in July. We've probably still got another 2 or 3 months of growth. Hoping that some of these cannas reach that roof. Hoping that these Musa Basjoos can get a little bit further up that wall. And it's just giving me the effect I desired, a really lush, kind of jungly green effect with all these leaves. That Colocasia esculenta is going to form the basis for my next esculenta breeding program. I started off with 1, I ended up with 30, and I've now got 1 again because 29 of them perished during the winter. Oh, forgot to mention down there, some little arum lilies. These are going by the wildlife pond eventually because I'm going to do a bog garden. The wildlife pond is right over there in the corner of the garden. Hope you've enjoyed that. I'll come back on camera and say goodbye. So there you go, a guided tour of my exotic tropical border and a 360 of the courtyard behind the cottage. Hope you've enjoyed it. Sometimes I ramble on in these videos, so apologies if I've gone on a little bit. Sometimes when you're holding a camera and looking at stuff, all kinds of rubbish comes out of your mouth, so I apologise in advance for that if you think that. And hopefully I'll be talking to you in about a week's time from Singapore. Look out for that video. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.